We ready? Okay, declare this, special meeting in order. I took that after Dana. Special meeting.
Larry,
Here,
Carolyn.
Here.
and I haven't been
Here.
drinking
Here.
Had 2 cups of coffee. What you got? Okay. Got the minutes of the last meeting. You gonna read those or you don't have them?
No, I haven't.
Okay, that's all right. We'll bypass that. I guess we're here just specifically to address this water rate increase and deal with that. Was there something else? Seemed like there was something else.
EDA grant,
Okay,
The grant,
your disaster grant,
I'm sorry.
that EDA disaster application,
Okay,
the grant, yeah.
yeah, the grant
oh,
application.
yeah.
With the
Yeah.
sewer plant.
Okay.
Sorry.
Yeah, well,
I could start or whatever, go ahead.
Just a sec.
Yes,
You
please.
need to read that first so she can send that to Keystone.
okay.
That's the old one.
You don't need to look at
That's
it.
2025.
Mhm.
I've got
This is the new one.
Yeah.
Today's date.
Chris Kruger.
11/26, okay. This all came about because the last time we raised this was I made a mistake and gave Caitlin the wrong paper. And that's why it was higher, and it was pointed out to me that I had a mistake by a few people. And anyway, we got that, so we done this, an ordinance amending section 1 of ordinance number 10/17/25. The schedule of monthly water rates for the town of Duggar. And basically it was just the monthly rate chart. This one here, I'll just read the first line to give you an idea of what happened. And we went from 2288 to 3592 on this one.
For the first 2,000 gallons.
Yeah, for the first 2,000 gallons, but somehow, like I said, I gave her the wrong ordinance, and she figured off of that. So anyway, this new ordinance dropped that 3592 down to 2574 from the previous ordinance on the first 2,000 gallons. That's the minimum charge. And then goes on down to basically what we did was added $1.43 per thousand to each line. And that brings it down, first 3,000 or next 3,000, would be 1,584 per thousand. Next 10,000 would be 1,556 per thousand. Next 12, 14.85 per thousand. And the next would be 14.55 per thousand. 50,000 gallons or over would be 1407 per gallon.
Now, this is the one that was, and that's
Yeah.
gonna be the new one.
Okay.
Yeah, that's all right. I thought maybe you were gonna read both of them. I didn't know. We were gonna read the rates on both of them.
We'll start over. Anyway, we've got the minimum charge now down to 2574 for the first 2,000 gallons. And then the next 3,000 is 1152. And the next 10,000 is 1134. Next 12,000 is 1089. And the next 25 is 1070. And the next 50 is 1039. Next 100,000 is and 10 cents, $10.11. Bulk rate went up to $12.87, and now the town customers, up to $27.82. And then on the back page, it's just a minimum charge on different meter sizes. It's got a 5/8, which is what we have here, 25.74. And if you got a 3/4 inch, it's gonna raise up to 48.07. 1 inch gonna be to 92.29. Inch and a quarter meter, 149.02. Inch and a half meter, 186.16. 2-inch meter, minimum charge would be 261.81. 3 inch is 412.88. 4 inch is 1,024, and 6 inch is 2,113. I don't think we have any 6 or 4-inch meters, so we don't have any 3-inch. We have 2-inch. They're master meters, so be no charge on those. Passed on to the customer, individual meters. Questions? Director? I'd entertain a motion to approve the rate increase as just read. I'd entertain a motion to approve that ordinance.
I'll make a motion, we accept that. There's this copy there.
I'll second it, yeah.
All in favor? Thanks. Okay, that's all we had, wasn't it?
Yeah, you guys
Do
need to
we want
sign
to
that.
Oh, yeah.
discuss, or just wait till later, discuss the penalty for turning on your, well, not turn on your water, you're taking the meter off and using water? Do we want to enforce that? It's in the ordinance.
We have no options.
Yeah, well, we need to, up it like that, we need to enforce the ordinance that we've made.
You gotta sign that.
I'll go with him now. I'm doing it with it today.
Welcome to the club.
I didn't bring a pen either.
And I was thinking about that.
I had to run over to VR graphics this morning with the boss lady, and that's.
I'll go and get my pen.
Should be one there somewhere on my desk.
You gotta sign that, I'll go get it.
Okay.
Yeah, that's our car out there. That's all we have for the town, and then we'll be over
Other than, if there's any, oh, one thing I have is, we sent out cards to the water customers saying that we were gonna have 57% raise. Now that's not the case. Do we wanna send out more cards for clarification on this?
I think I hate to, but you don't think we should? I think we should.
it actually is 57%. You can take that per thousand, 15, well, yeah, this is 1584.
That's the old one.
That-
Caitlin's got the new
Yeah.
one.
And you're gonna come up with the same thing as $1.43 per thousand. So, yeah, anyway, that's confusing everybody. We're just adding $1.43 per thousand gallons of water to the customer. And that's what the increase from Linton was that we have to recover. So that's where that's at.
Okay.
Everybody agree with that? So we done passed the ordinance, so
Do you guys want to send out cards for clarification again?
Well, if it's the same percent, there's no need to. Exact
I
percent.
mean, that's what our cost was roughly raised to.
But the cards actually
Yeah.
say that the water's gonna be raised to the customer 57%. I'll get you the cards.
That's right.
That's what I was saying. If you, the 1580, well, I'd have to have the old one. This is the one we took it off of. So. We got 1009.
We didn't do it a meeting and say we were gonna send cards out there.
No,
So we don't have to this time either if we want to send cards.
It's gonna come out to 575.
It's all right, I mean, I
Go
know,
behind and go on.
yeah.
Anyway, it comes out to the same thing, take my word for it. Figure. But, yeah, it wouldn't hurt to send out another card just for clarification and explain that the raise from Linton was $1.43 per thousand, and that's what we passed on. So, yeah, it wouldn't hurt to do that.
let me get you guys a card and you can read it. What went out.
Costs quite a bit to send those cards out, don't it?
Mhm.
Postage is so high.
It's like $500 and some dollars.
Can we just put it on reach?
Yeah, we can put it on Reach, we can put it on the website. I can put it on Facebook.
Well, it seems like there's a lot of people on the website, so.
It's a nice. But if we're going to say the same thing, why are we sending the card?
Was this, yeah,
You know what I mean?
I would just put it on reach and it would get published in the paper.
Yeah, but the cost is our cost of buying water.
Yeah, the 57% is our cost from Linton. The 255 to 398 is 57%.
Right.
And what we are going to bill the customer is $1.43 more per 1,000 gallons.
Which represents our cost
Yes.
per
I
thousand.
just see,
So however you wanna do that, you wanna just do it on reach and,
I think so.
Yeah,
And then
yeah, because
I'll put it on Facebook. We can put it on the website. We could actually hang a sign on the door if we need to.
that, there is a comment section on our water bills. Could Caitlin put it on in there?
She might be able to. There's very little
Yes,
space,
yeah.
but I can ask her.
I don't know. If you could, that would be good. Everybody gets one so they
put
know.
under the increase only reflects our cost from that.
yes,
If you can't, just put it on reach and like I said, it'll come out in the paper.
Okay.
And put a note on the door when they come in to pay the water bill, or put it above the drop box so they can read there all. All right. Got anything else?
no. Start on our,
Now we're ready for Dustin. And
I'm gonna pass it over to Chris, let her.
Tell us what she's coming up with.
So the last time I met with you, Eric with HWC was here, provided you some 4 alternatives. I was told that you guys went on some site visits, and that's as far as I know. Did you guys determine an alternative? Did you determine to go forward with the application? And then the biggest question is your match. If you're gonna do it, what your match or where your match would come from.
probably come up, everybody, I think there's option 4.
Yeah, that was the one, the cheapest option was option 4. Terry and I went and looked at a like, system. It'll be a little bit different because we already have clarifiers and that has a clarifier incorporated, but they had separate digesters and our digester will be incorporated. So basically their clarifiers will be our new digesters, if that makes any sense.
Okay.
So,
What do they call that, an aeration ditch?
no, it's just aeration basin, because it's just a tank, kind of like what we got out there that bubbles.
I was thinking somewhere there was a ditch in there.
The ditch was the first 2 options.
Okay.
That's an oval with some paddle wheels that push it around. Terry come over to Shelburne. I showed him Shelburne's, and
Lots of moving parts.
lots of moving parts. That was his first, observation. And the electric bill's twice as high.
Which one was theirs, option?
Theirs was option 1. I think the double oxidation ditch. It was the most expensive one, but like Chimera's got a single oxidation ditch, but the aeration basins. It was a pretty neat setup that they had. It had automatic skimmers, everything alternated on its own, air actuated valves. It basically ran itself. I mean, not to the point that a plant can. It monitored its own oxygen and adjusted accordingly. Pretty neat system as far as I'm concerned, but I think that's the one that you guys wanted to go with. Eric come back and said, when he was here, it was close to 6 million, and it had the overall price once the vendor got back to him had dropped to 5.77 million. That was an approximate. You don't know until it goes out to
So
bid.
what's the match on that?
20%.
20%.
I know, but I don't know.
You're looking at about
Right.
1.2.
Right, 1.2. If you go up, if you anticipate 7 million to same, you'd be 1.4. So
So
it depends, right? You don't want to ask for too little, or you don't want to lock you guys into too much.
Mhm.
So there's that play there. You've got 6 million was 1.2. If you go 7 million, it's 1.4.
and his estimate includes a 10. He said I think it's a 10% contingency, 10 or 15% contingency.
Yeah.
So there's a little wiggle room there,
Mm-hmm.
and then plus there's another $250,000 of wiggle room. Just saying 6 instead of 5 3/4. So, like she says, you don't want to be under,
Mhm.
and then anything over that, then it's strictly 100% out of your pocket. So, and you won't know until it goes out to bid. So there's a couple steps between now and then before it even goes out to bid. So you'll know the actual number. Good thing is if it comes in less than what you asked for, then you'll end up with extra funds that you can possibly, you can usually, you can reduce your match and or if at the end of the project you still have more money, you can buy extra pumps. You can negotiate with IDEM, or not IDEM, but the EDA or whatever to possibly do a little bit of extra stuff, like do some liner in town or something. They'll usually give you that grace to spend what money you have left over, if you have it left over. But if you come in short, then everything over that's 100% out of notice. You wanna make sure you go for plenty of money.
Got a question here. You say the option 4 was
577.
577.
So we rounded it up to 6.
Yeah,
So
so you,
rounding it up to 6, your match would be 1.2.
so you subtract that match from that 5.
From the 6 million?
Yeah,
Yeah, so that's my question. So the grant would actually be,
4.8.
4.8.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So there was like a substantial cost to demolish the 2 tanks we have.
Yeah, I can't remember what that was, but yeah, there was demolition.
Yeah, I thought that was awful high. We might take that part out and do that on our own.
Yeah, I mean, where they're placing everything, I don't think that would, I don't know, maybe they have their own pipes there, I don't know, that would be something to talk to them about. I'd hate to answer that.
Well, I mean, you can't do away with that till the new's in
Correct,
place and running,
that's true.
so.
so if they get that done, then these metal tanks would be,
Right.
they're all, all we'd have to do is take torsion.
Have somebody that likes to scrap come in. Another corner off.
Your demolition estimate was 100,000.
Yeah, there's no way,
So
$100,000 to tear them out.
Think so. We got some guys working for us that can wreck anything.
They proved it.
But I mean, we could, I just see that as a cost, we could cut the cost.
So,
I mean, that's a pleasure.
the biggest question is, does Decker have the match already? If not, what are your plans? Because if you have to go out and find the match, it's going to delay your application.
we'd have to look at the sewer account, see how much we could,
Yeah, well, Autumn's gonna be here, December 3rd.
It's not that far away.
No,
Okay, and then you can talk to her about how we
Yeah.
can do things. We might possibly have it or most of it, right?
and then part of that could come out of general.
yeah, that's what I was gonna talk to her about, to see if we could, how we could do that, because, you know, we can't touch our budgeted amounts, we can't touch that.
Right.
So I was gonna talk to her about that to see if that's possible.
Uh-huh.
We'd like to use our money and then pay ourselves back without.
Well, yeah, that's ideal, right? They would just need a documentation from the council stating that the funding is available, committed, and unencumbered. And then they would ask where it's coming from, obviously, so they can help.
Right.
Now, somewhere along the way, I heard maybe incorrectly, or thought I heard that, they're gonna require an increase in our sewer rates.
But if you go for a grant, if you try to get money outside of your own money, they will require a rate study. And the rate study could reflect a necessary increase in rates. If you got it in pocket, that's not so.
I've already sent stuff to Pat Callahan. He's talked to Pat Callahan about a rate study, so.
Did that include water also, water and sewer, or just sewer?
I think it was both, I mean,
Well, he would have asked for water bills.
yeah, I think he's just on the first steps of what he needs right now, so.
While we're at it, and that's gonna cost us probably about $4,000 per
Utility.
utility.
So you're already going through with the rate study, so.
We already got the sewer sent in, I know that. I'll check Callahan, if they're doing the water, if they're not, we just well go ahead and do it. They recommend them be not more than 5 years apart, but we had our last one in 22, I think. But I'm pretty sure it was 22, so be good there.
So I guess what she's saying, if you're planning on taking it from your funds, then you need to write them, a letter anyway to say where you're getting your funds from.
So it's something that you'll know a little more come the 3rd, or after the 3rd anyway, as to where you stand internally. And then after which we can get a letter if that's internal. If it's external, typically it's SRF loan, as what Eric was talking about. Then that would take another potentially 3 to 6 months to secure that before you could apply. So I'm just looking at your timing. I'm just letting you know your timing there. So what I did, I took liberty of what Eric provided you with your alternatives. I sent that to EDA to determine how far we need to go for a PER. Okay? Because that is one requirement. We have to submit a PER for them to review the intent, if you will, okay, your intended construction. So we'll see what that is. Apparently, my supervisor just texted me and said we got a message back, but I haven't seen it yet. So we'll see how that goes. If they need more, then that's where HWC was talking to you about utilizing their services to complete one. And so the question then becomes, if HWC, I'm a full PER, then HWC can be part of your construction team.
So how do we gotta open it up for
You would have to,
where engineers come in and
Correct.
introduce themselves and all
so
that?
you would have to procure an engineer for the construction portion. So that engineer, or if awarded, would then look and do the final designs, do the work specs, and work it out to bid your contractor to get the work done. So that's the difference. Right now, he would say, this is what's going on, this is what we see that you need, and this is cost estimate. So that's what I sent to them to see if we've got a good basis and we can just move forward. So that's the difference. If, like I said, the only way to keep HWC is if you guys pay his or their costs from your match. Okay, so if you want the grant to pay any part of that, you'll have to procure another engineer. Okay?
For the PER?
If he does the PER,
Oh, if
he does a full PER,
Right, I understand.
okay? Because basically what they're saying is if that company does the PER, then they know way too much about the project and it's biased. So we need to wipe him off so that everybody else can start at the starting line at the same. Okay, so that's what they're saying. So if you've got this guy working over here who's done it, he cannot go into the construction phase unless you guys pay the fee from your local or match.
So do we, like over at Shelburne, when we went through this, we got a bunch of engineers to give us their information of we have to open that up, pick an engineer for a PER. I mean, I'm saying we're not having.
For final PER, final design, and bid specs. Okay, so again, let's see what EDA says about what I sent.
Mhm.
If they're okay with what HWC has done, I think that HWC can be all right. So those are some questions
To
I'm
do the
looking at.
construction?
So we'll have to see, I'm trying to determine the level of involvement of the engineer prior to the construction, so we can figure out if we can keep HWC or not. So that's what I'm looking at, okay? Does that help us?
Yeah, I just don't want them to be Xed out because they've helped us out.
Correct,
Some of-
and
and you
that's
know-
what that's where I'm,
They've not done a lot, but they
Right.
have
and that's where I'm like,
helped
that's
us
why
out.
I sent it to him and said, is this a good start? Can we just, because if it is, and it's the information that we need, it's very general, and we could probably, between you and I, fix it to the way EDA needs it.
Mhm.
And we don't necessarily need the engineer. So that's what I'm looking at, because even others are gonna have to ask for a cost update on their projects. So how do you determine the engineer? So I think he's been minimal, and that's why I'm trying to keep him at that,
Right.
so we can at least keep him in the pool as you move forward.
What was the cost of that?
The PER,
I think it's
HWC was
30.
what, 30 to, it depends, 30 to 50. Now, you're looking at one utility, one project, so I'm not sure. I do not know. I can't quote what HWC would do. So that would be, if we have to do a full-blown one, you probably would have to pay HWC outside.
So you're saying besides this, actual 4.8 grand amount in our match, you're saying that we would have to pay for these things above that?
Yes and no. Now, okay, and this is
Yeah.
where it's money, and I apologize.
No, that's okay, but I just,
If a project comes in and they have a full-blown PER, then all the next contractor has to do is look at it and update it, which we all know most of them don't. They redo them anyway. Then we would have to pay for that service before we even started construction or moved into the grant, okay? If you've got what you need and we move into the grant, all that costs should be included into your grant, either your grant amount or your match. So that's included in your budget. So that's where we're going with 6 million, 7 million, but it would be in there, okay? Does that help? Now, how you divide who's paying what between match and EDA, we can discuss that later on, but typically EDA, consider them the construction part. You know, consider them the people that they will pay, the people who go out there, if you do demolition and all that. It's just easier that way, for me, to understand. It's like, okay, imagine that your match is going toward the administrative portion or the professional service, and imagine EDA is going to do the bulk of it. Does that help there a little
yes,
bit?
yes,
Okay.
I just do it.
So that's kind of how I look at it. So yes, I'm hoping to get back with hopefully EDA this afternoon to find out what they're thinking. I know that they would like to meet with the communities. I'll see. If he feels you guys are at that point where you're ready to move forward. I think until we know next week, you may not want to meet with him yet, because that's going to be one of his questions. Where is it, how is it, where are you getting it from? That kind of thing. But if I can field out the engineer questions and all of that stuff for you, I'm more than happy to do that. Yeah. So, great. Yeah, it sounds like if you can figure out your match, we might be able to get something in. I don't know if I can push it toward the end of the year, but early next year. This is gonna be a lot of paperwork. So I don't know if we can get all that paperwork done before the end of the year, just to be honest with you. So I would suggest, expect maybe, an application could be submitted in January, first part of February.
You had something on your mind there that I was reading, this engineering, $30,000 to $50,000.
That would be if we have to do a full engineer
Okay.
report for the application. Okay, now this particular path that you've chosen it does planning and implementation. So that's where I'm trying to figure out what EDA's definition is. You know, okay, we can cover planning and that, but what's your definition of planning? Does it have to be at what point? So that's what the discussion with EDA is at this moment, okay? So I am trying not to get anything out of your pocket, other than the badge, so.
Meantime, I want to get a hold of Callahan maybe this afternoon.
About
About I know we sent in the water.
for
and
the rate
I'm not
study.
sure about the sewer.
EDA is not necessarily worried about your rate study.
Oh, really?
No, EDA would not. If you have to go for a loan, those are the individuals that
Yeah, okay.
want to know your rate study.
Well.
Yeah, and it doesn't hurt to do that,
Yeah.
because you want to make sure that you are
That way, if we have to go that route,
That you're
then
in
we
a-
would have it.
a good financial position for your utilities, and you have something to fall back on if you do need to raise rates again. But, you know, or it gives you a plan too. I know some other districts that, okay, eventually it's gonna need to be raised. We're gonna start like 1% every year. Then it's a little easier for people to adjust. So it's a good tool, but I don't think it's necessary for this application.
Scary.
Well, I mean, it's all a big if. How much is it gonna cost? We don't know.
Right,
It's just all imaginary number out there, and what our match is even a match.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is the
If
difficult
it goes
part.
over that a bunch, we ain't gonna be able to do it.
Correct. So that is a possibility that, and it has happened in another project of ours. You know, the bid cost was coming back extraordinarily high. There was no way they could make up that difference.
Yeah.
Just absolutely not. So I think HWC has got you well, you know, in hand for what,
Yeah.
we can't predict the future. You know, that last one, COVID hit. So,
Well, the plant we looked at was 2012 when it was built. It was like $2.25 million.
2.3, yeah.
Yeah, $2.3 million for the whole plant.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know, and
and
now
now
we're
it's like-
talking $6 million for a little portion of it.
for a little portion of it. Exactly.
2012.
That's when that.
But we're the one we went and looked
plant
at.
was put in.
Okay.
Right.
No.
So if we do have to apply for a loan for our portion of it, so the grant is all free, right? The other half of it is free, but our portion, we have to pay back, right,
For the loan, correct,
for the loan.
if you do a loan.
So how many years do they go out?
Typically between 20 to 40.
Okay.
So this is state revolving loan fund. And
Yeah,
most of the state has fairly decent, you know, interest rate.
mhm,
Unfortunately, there's nobody out there that does 0%.
yeah,
So it is lower than typical, you know, if you went to the bank, but you're still locked in for that amount of year.
for the whole 20 to 40 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it would just depend. A lot of times it depends on how much you're asking for, as to the length of it, or how much you guys opt. I've seen where some districts have opted to go the full 40, but they know they can pay it in 20, you know. So that's something we'll have to navigate, if that's the right way we want to go.
Yeah.
And we can look into also, if we end up, lots of ifs, if you end up having to get a full-blown planning grant or plan, PER is what they call it, we could potentially apply to another agency that helps pay for those. So you may not have the full cost. So we've got options, but again, we just have to say, okay, if you don't have it inside, we're gonna have to look at AB. Okay. If we have to do PER, we wanna look at this. Okay, so that's, I'm giving you a lot of ifs today, and I apologize. It all depends on what's most comfortable for you guys and what we can get to. Yes, ma'am. Anything else?
Well, I was just thinking, you know, out for the future, like what our payments, what we could do on payments.
Right.
You know, because
A loan.
we had a loan, and sold some property out at the lake
Uh-huh.
and
Well, you're right.
paid it off, and we actually got money back from paying it off early, you know, so I think those payments were like $1,200 a month.
Okay.
So,
I've been out of that loan portion so long, I'm not really sure on average yet. Was it through SRF or rural?
it was it was through, Bank of New York.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, so that's the other thing
I'm
too.
just thinking while ago,
You could
the
go to a
more
bank.
land we can sell.
Yeah,
Those are
40 acres out there.
their loan options, we'll see what we can do. And you could possibly do a lower loan if you are
Some
comfortable
cash.
with some internal
okay,
funds. Mhm. So you don't have to go all of it as internal and all of it this way. You can combine.
okay. So do part of us paying for it and then part loan possibly?
Yes. Mhm.
No more the third
Yeah.
after you get Autumn's.
Mhm. Mhm.
But what, are we just gonna go ahead and proceed with it, so we just,
Yeah, and wait till December 3rd when she meets with all of them, and that way we'll know what to tell her.
yeah.
That's right.
Right.
just
So
have
it
Can't
sounds
do
like,
anything till then. for
right,
sure.
it sounds like at this point, I want to say we're still kind of in a holding pattern until we can determine next week, you guys, and how comfortable you guys are with what, and then we have to make a decision which way. In the meantime, I am going to be working with EDA to determine what's needed
Okay.
in that definition of planning. Okay, so it sounds like our timing's gonna come together pretty evenly, so, okay?
Our next meeting's the 8th, right?
Yeah.
Second Monday.
Okay.
So
And then, yeah,
she finds out on the 3rd.
Yeah,
We'll-
we
The
should
next
know.
Monday meeting, we can
you guys can decide
be
then,
better
or
prepared.
you can discuss it then.
Be a week from Monday was our meeting.
December 8th.
Yeah.
So then we'll see how it's going. Again, I will be checking with the EDA. So they were on furlough for a while, but we don't know how many people put applications in between, so I'll be checking to see what the competition is. If they say they only have 5 million left, I don't know if it would be worth your while to do all this headache, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, if you know any information like that, like
oh,
that,
yeah, so we'll be talking to them about that.
paying out for things we don't have to.
So I will anticipate that if he wants to meet with the community, we will postpone it until maybe the middle of December, so that you guys feel like you've got a solid idea of which way you want to go.
Okay.
Okay. Dustin, anything else I can share?
Not that I know of.
Okay. Like I said, I feel I muddled it for you, but that's where we're at now. So, and since you said alternative 4, that gives me an idea which direction. I will look at the cost estimate again. Because there's gonna be some minor adjustments, and I do believe they did not include your administration fee in it. So, all right. That's all I have.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, well, thank you for your time and
That's
effort.
Yeah.
That's a lot to digest. Let me know.
Get all that done, what are you gonna do in your spare time?
As like I said, full transparency, there is another community that is working with us to see if they can get an application in. Well, honestly, they're about the same position as you are. So they're supposed to tell me next week where and if they're doing their match. So,
But I'm curious, if they did, then you wouldn't have enough for us.
we could not put both of you in competition against each other at the same time. Doesn't mean that I can't do 2 applications. So if whomever goes first gets awarded,
I see.
we've got another one.
They only want one per county.
Yeah, because they're gonna say, well, why aren't you working together? That's obvious to us because of the distance, and you guys don't have the same system, those types of things. So we don't want you competing against each other. Okay? But, or we find out they don't, whomever doesn't get awarded, we've got you guys ready to go. Okay, so that's kind of where we're at. Okay. Okay. All right.
What, once she gets through talking with Autumn and relay that information to you, what position is that gonna put you in as far as proceeding?
It's gonna depend on two things. It's gonna depend on what EDA says about the
Okay.
documents that I provided. I provided yours and the other communities. So we've got that comparison there, and it's gonna depend on each of your match.
Yeah.
So if you guys decide internal and they decide internal, you're still head to head.
Yeah.
Again, depending on what EDA says about the documents. If they have to go outside to get a match, and you guys do internal, you're ahead a little bit more, because they have to get secured before you can apply. So, like I said, right now, you guys are like almost neck to neck. The nice thing is, with this type of grant, the narrative is on economic development and, the disaster and the effects of how you're gonna be resilient. So a lot of the narrative can just be tweaked between the two. So, okay? So we're writing it as if it's for either of you.
So you're tweaking both of our narratives.
Yes, we are. Yes, we are. So we will be then, in touch. The next thing we'll be asking you guys a lot of questions for the narrative to make sure it relates to you guys. Awesome.
Okay,
I think that was the last of it.
carry on, I guess.
I will carry on. Great,
Thank you, Chris.
thank you.
Yeah, thanks for your time and
No
Yes,
problem.
take your
You've got my contact. Again, any questions, does not
I
matter.
didn't notice that much gray hair in your head when you first started trying to explain this to us.
Oh, yeah, yes, you've been crazy bad about it.
okay.
Okay, what else we got? Okay, anybody got any questions, answers? Bob? Then I entertain a motion to adjourn this meeting.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
All in favor? Meeting adjourned. I'll get on the phone with Callahan to make sure that we do have sewer grant or sewer rate study. Have all that done.